So you can turn this video off right now if you've never been overwhelmed or felt like life wasn't going the way you had planned. Okay, you still with me? Thought so. This is Rachel Elizabeth. You're watching Real Talk with Rach. And today I really felt led, compelled, whatever you want to call it, to talk to you guys about being tired or overwhelmed or just feeling like life is either a burden and you're really just struggling right now with feeling exhausted or feeling kind of lost. I was praying about this video this week, and the thing that kept coming up was this feeling I've had personally in my life recently where I've really struggled with something that is actually an answer to prayer, but it doesn't feel the way I thought it should. Let me explain. For a very long time, as most of you know, things were very hard, and during that time, I learned how to trust God in so many new ways. I learned how to give Him my plans for my life and trust that His plans for my life were going to be even better. What I asked for in prayer during those times was that God would both relieve me from some serious financial burdens and lead me in His plans for my life, not my own. And first of all, one thing that happened was that He answered both prayers. And this was years later, so don't think that this happens immediately when you pray for it. Sometimes it does, but God's timing is best. So just let the lesson work itself out and wait on His timing, because He's still good even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. But He finally relieved my financial burden, my financial stress. And at the same time, in that process, He led me to a place where I am in my life right now, where I look at it and think, what? How is this my life? This isn't what I thought it would look like, especially at this time in my life, at this age that I'm at. I thought it was gonna look a whole lot different. My career doesn't look anything like I thought it would look. And at the same time, I am so desperately grateful for the incredible answer to prayer with relieving the burdens that I had before. And I'm still on point one, so bear with me. But first of all, I'm really struggling with feeling both incredibly grateful on one hand and incredibly confused and frustrated on the other hand, because He's answered my prayer for both. Like, He's directing my life and I'm not. I've given Him back what I thought I was doing the right way so that He could lead me in a better way. And so I'm frustrated even though He's answered my prayer, because I still want to control my life. I still want to do things my way. And I still want them to look the way I thought that they would at this time in my life. Like, have that perfect goal and follow every step and have everything work out perfectly in my timing. Things haven't gone that way, and they won't always go that way. I have this tremendous peace and absolute satisfaction with my relationship with God and where I'm at financially, emotionally, personally, and still my human nature wants to fight that and say, well, you're not where you thought you would be. So I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I've had this incredible answer to prayer on one hand, and on the other hand, I am really struggling to be grateful for the answered prayer over here. Now, a lot of the financial relief is completely God. Like, I feel like I didn't do anything to earn or deserve that. It just kind of came out of nowhere with some major blessings. The other part was definitely God leading me to a job that I don't love, but He's providing for me through it. So I know that there's a reason for all this, and the point of me sharing this is so that you understand what I'm learning at the same time, right along with you, is that there's a lesson in everything. And you can trust God through everything, even when life doesn't look the way you planned. Now, point number 2 is that had my life looked at this point the way I thought it was gonna look, I would be where I was before my relationship with God, when everything was on track with what I thought it should be. And yet I had so much anxiety and I was exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically. Oh my gosh, I was completely drained. By the time I got home every night, I would continue to work on my business and answer emails and get very little sleep. And then I had nothing to give back to relationships. So my relationships suffered. It was just a hot mess. And if I compare where I'm at now, even though it doesn't look like what I thought it would look like, to where I was when it looked like what I thought it should look like, I much prefer where I'm at now, where I have a relationship with God and I have peace in every situation. I'm following peace. I didn't do that before, and yet I'm still completely provided for. In fact, when I compare the relief of letting God provide for me in His way through the work that He brings to me right now while I'm following peace, versus where I was with striving. And if you guys don't know what striving is, it's when you are in burnout mode all the time because you just have to get to that next level. And so many of us stay in that area because we're so afraid to let go and open up our hands and really trust God to provide for us. And that's so crazy to me, because when you finally understand who God is, that He's the maker and creator of the universe, of you, of me, of everything living and breathing. Like, why on earth would we be so self-involved to think that our way of controlling our lives is better than His way of gently leading and providing? Just that said, I highly encourage you guys to learn who God is. Learn about His characteristics and His attributes and everything that makes Him who He is, because there's so many misconceptions of who God is. What I was gonna say about striving is that I wouldn't give up where I am now for where I was, because the benefits far outweigh what they were in the past when I had that tight grip on my life and my plans. And truly, I wasn't happy. I was masking all of the deep emotional hurts from my past with work. I was trying to put a tiny little band-aid on a giant open flesh wound, sorry for the visual, of all of my junk, all of the stuff that I was putting a mask on, everything that had hurt me in the past, all the pain, the resentment, the bitterness, the envy, all of this stuff that I was actually dealing with. I wasn't dealing with it all because I was masking it with work and career and this idea I had of success. And the truth is, when I was on top of my game, I had a 6-figure income and I was doing what I loved, and yet I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't enjoy it because it was never good enough. It was never satisfying enough. I always thought that if I would get to the next magazine cover or the next, figure in my income or the next major booking, that somehow I would be satisfied. Or I don't know what I wanted, but I do now because I have what I want, regardless of what my life looks like on the outside to other people, or regardless of whether the definition of success in my life matches or doesn't match what the world says success is. I know that where I'm at now is so much better. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Like, I felt so burdened for you because I just have this feeling that you are so burnt out and so tired and so exhausted, waiting for the day that your work feels like it pays off, that it feels satisfying, that it feels like it's enough. Because the truth is, you don't feel like you're enough. And the real talk truth is, you are not ever going to be enough on your own. You have to let your Creator in. You have to let Him lead you. You have to let Him be the king in your life. You have to let Him be God. Because trying to be God on your own, you're never gonna feel like you're enough, because you weren't made to be the ruler of your life. Now that's controversial, but all you have to do to find out that that's true is to go ask anyone who's successful without living for other people. Anyone who's living for just themselves, living for their career, living for more stuff. Ask them if they're satisfied. They're not gonna be. They're always gonna be shooting for something bigger, hoping that, whether they say it or not, admit it or not, hoping that next thing is gonna be what actually tips the scale and makes them feel happy or satisfied. But here's the real purpose of life. regardless of who you are, what you've been through. The purpose of life is to love God and love other people. It's not to sit around in your mansion, love yourself, and buy yourself another car or take yourself on another trip. The purpose of life is God and relationship. Now, every single one of us has a unique purpose given to us by God because He created us uniquely, fearfully, wonderfully, because He is like that. He's not just gonna make a whole bunch of robots. He's going to spend time on each and every one of us and make us exactly the way that we needed to be made for the perfect, unique, beautiful purposes of each individual life. So yes, your life has a unique purpose. And maybe you've realized that purpose, maybe you don't realize that purpose, but know that there is beautiful purpose for your life. And if you release your control, your grip on your life, and you trying to do it all yourself, to try to make yourself satisfied, I promise you that God's gonna flood in with so much love and so much mercy and so much grace that when you trust Him, He is going to give you everything that you ever thought you wanted. It may not look the way you thought you wanted it to look, but I promise you it'll be better, and you will find satisfaction when you find satisfaction in God alone. Well, that wasn't at all about fitness or nutrition, but sometimes you just gotta do what you feel led to do. And guys, that is purely out of love from my heart to yours. So I hope that that was encouraging. Yeah, I hope that I continue to be obedient. So pray for me. I just want to do these videos for the purpose that God is having me do them. And that will change week to week. It may not even look like the way I thought it was gonna look, and it already hasn't. So I pretty much guarantee that that's true. But just know that you're so loved, and that not anything that the world or the people in your life say about you negatively, not everything is true. But you can know without a shadow of doubt that the one who made you is such a beautiful creator, is such a merciful and good creator, that nothing He does is bad. Nothing He did or ever will do is a mistake. So everything about you and your life is purposeful. He turns the ashes of life, the pain of life, the sorrow of life into beauty, into something good. So if you guys need prayer for anything, leave me a message in the comments below or email me, info@causefitness.com. Just feel free to reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you want to support me in what I'm doing here, I really would love for you to check out my Patreon campaign. I'm going to put a link here to that, and you'll see one at the end and in the description box below. But please check that out. I would love for you to be part of the family. Again, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for watching. If it was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next week. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, tell me one thing that you're struggling with in your life right now, or one thing that you are incredibly grateful for in your life right now, and I'll see you next time.